Yeah. I went online to try it, and they said, no, you have to come in. And I was, so it's one of those days, I'm standing outside the ticket, they do shake you.
What's the point of that?
Well, then she said, well, you know, you can have it online, and I said,
You're Uncle
it
Dave.
said I was wrong person. Just not warm enough, I don't. So they got me all set, and I didn't know the name of the second kid that's coming, so I said, I don't know her name. She wanted names and birthdays, so she just put Cohen down twice. And then she said, you know, I have the whole package, so I said, just give it to Kristen, I'll be all set. But that should be fun. Rob's gonna join.
Are you a skier?
Back in the day I was, I haven't skied now for years. Even when Kristen and the kids went skiing, it's like, you know what, I fell and broke my ankle once, I really don't need to be racked up. I'm afraid of breaking. That's my biggest fear, is breaking something, so, yeah, not really. Rob's from Colorado. So he's ready to go, yeah.
Maybe that's good.
I don't know how many hours go on for
Not much going on.
It's kind of like small monkey.
How's the market doing today? I never even looked.
Down 600.
Everybody's waiting.
On what news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sale out there, I know that.
My mother made most of her money before she passed away. When interest rates were at 60%,
So Jenna's
you know, in the bank, and savings account.
She's in Washington DC officially now. So
Yes, she's a resident.
that's all right. I'm trying to think, so she's 21, 6 years ago, I bought an 04 Buick LeSabre from a customer in Wittenberg. Yeah. She drove high school, drove back and forth to Madison. And she passed on to Easton. He got licensed last year. And now she's no longer driving the Volkswagen, so we gave that to Easton, and I paid $500 for the Buick when I bought it. 14 or so. And one of our friends wanted to buy it for their 16-year-old, so I blue booked it last night. $3,300. I sold it to her for hard. So it's basically tripled in 7 years. 125,000 miles, so it's brand new.
Market adjustment. Another 10,000. And I would have purchased it. I thought they were getting done. A couple years ago, though, there was 10 years ago, we ran last year.
Cost of our parts.
So I rang a fender or something.
About
Lauren is kind of a driver. She likes the easier hills.
it's not the same.
They were.
But that'll be nice for the brakes, I want her.
No, not at all.
They
They were long,
long,
long.
it's people who have claims are probably.
I don't want to deal with that.
Insurance companies are losing money, you know, for some reason.
Well, I think.
Well, I don't know, I'm trying to suck up.
Working on the city.
It's not gonna earn.
He said, I don't want to. Why the hell don't bother? I talked to somebody who knows, so I don't.
We are talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
People get good.
I could drink.
Right?
No, I haven't noticed.
Yeah, Lauren is very much a beginner. She was very interested.
Isn't that?
She did really well.
Did she? My oldest grandkids have skied quite a bit. Krista's taken them quite a lot in the past. And now they haven't gone for quite a few years. And Blade is probably skied when he was maybe 3 and now he's 7. So it'll be interesting. I did beginner skis for him and intermediate for everybody else.
Yeah, Heather just bought her skis this year. Yeah, it's really wide and kind of floppy on the ends.
Oh, really?
It's the new thing.
Thank you, Sarah.
That was the police. So, yeah, right now.
There's similar situations.
It's all the house and tank.
Oh, it's not there yet.
Oh, the houses, those
Everything.
Oh.
Skills.
Indian Head is quite a bit
Place for somewhere
less
last week,
expensive,
but
isn't it, than Granite Peak?
This is true story. $54 for $100. I sold it to Dave for $7,100.
I don't remember. I mean, the whole package for 5 people was $538,
Finally got a
and
call
that was
back.
just a
Came
20%
in
discount.
for
We paid
$7,100.
$70 for
I guess
something
get your-
they passed.
You're here 50 minutes.
$70, I don't think that's cheap.
No, was that with or without rentals?
I don't know what the rentals were, I think that was 50
Because
per
you have
month.
your own.
Lauren has, Lauren rented.
They have 4 cars on the lot.
Yeah.
Wonder if the Wheeler girl, Marshall is requesting her start purchase.
Mary.
Yeah. I got about 4 cars open right now.
Two of them are Fords. No, I mean, that's.
Are you gonna head down to Gulf Shores this winter?
No,
Right. Did they get that place?
no, with Gail just moving here,
Is that one of mine river?
in Gulf Shores, although it was nice, the weather wasn't as ideal as I would have liked.
When I drive by there every day.
Yeah, no,
Pam probably is gonna take a trip to Florida,
Well, they got lights on.
maybe drive, or depends on who wants to go with her. But I just told her I'm gonna take it a year off, stay in the Northwoods.
Walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salespeople are too eager to eat you.
I would.
Would you look for something warmer? Is that what you're looking for? Like Florida warm, Arizona warm?
Arizona warm, maybe. Mostly golfing. Pam likes to golf, and we've done Laughlin for years and years. But I'm tired of it. I said, you know what, we've done Laughlin for like, I don't know how many times we've done
By the
this.
time I get it fixed, I
I said, we need to do something different.
I've heard it's nice out there. I've never been.
It's like a little Vegas, but you come down off the mountains and you just come down to the Laughlin, it's in the valley. And there's maybe 10 or 12 casinos, but it's all on one strip. You're right by California, you're right by Arizona, so you can golf in any of the 3 states.
Sure.
Lake Havasu is right there, or near there, and we met friends probably 8 years ago that we continue to be friends with. We actually stayed with them one of the last trips out there for a while. They took us on their pontoon on Lake Havasu for a day, a couple of times. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Sedona?
No, I heard that's gorgeous, so.
It's on my list, so I like to-
Yeah.
So you can't quite.
That's where the red rocks are.
I don't know.
I think the desert's got a lot of really pretty red rocks.
We got the big cactus.
I'm like, look at that. No, I know you didn't get that.
Yeah, that might be a thought.
Yeah, he's got a couple of road masters.
Yeah, those are the big ugly.
Maybe down there.
He was Ford, or the Buick that you used to have was in the Roadmaster. I can't
No, that
remember.
was
Yeah.
Well, they were with big electric.
Yeah,
That would be, those pictures for a Merrill Rotary.
That's my husband. Such a Marie's gun, right?
Back in the 70s, they had a big,
There was a
you could put a deer in the back, along with the dogs, the decoys, and
Pull some.
Yeah, may want to travel next year. She wants to go on a cruise at some point. She hasn't been on a cruise for a minute.
Well, they were, they went through a lot.
those are all the red before all
I
the.
talked to a friend of mine today and he said they're planning a trip.
Yeah.
They're gonna fly in Paris and then they're
Once you
gonna
get her moving,
It's the-
once you
fly
get her
up
moving.
to Germany.
Well, when she stops, she's stuck.
Must be, he said they're gonna visit a concentration camp, so I don't know what.
Oh,
Doc Howard's there.
Clark
By
County.
Brew, yeah, yeah. That's right.
But then he said then they're gonna drive from there down to Italy.
We had gotten some rain or something.
for family and friends, for vocations and avocations, and for the opportunities that you give us to make this world a better place through service to yourself. And now we ask you to bless our time together and our lives in the week ahead. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Coop, you want to do the raffle right now?
Yes, I would love to.
Everybody in that wants to be in?
Here, the winner is 679.
One.
I will come over by you.
Yep.
10 hearts is what you would like.
Or a joker.
Yeah, I think it's gone, but I haven't even looked at it.
Everybody took a joke.
7 hearts.
Close.
Just a reminder to everybody, as I just had a birthday last week, so I reminded myself to make my birthday check out for the foundation. So this year, as your time comes up to celebrate yourself, make sure you keep the foundation in mind for your donation there. That's always appreciated. I have a happy dollar today. Thought we'd do some of those maybe. Why not? It's New Year. Next week, my niece Paige, who is a senior this year, will be participating in the first ever WIA Girls State Wrestling Tournament. So she is currently ranked #1 in the state for her weight.
Wow.
So really excited about that. Yep.
Where is
So
that being held?
lacrosse.
And what school is she at?
Wabino. So she's in, she's also on the state team, but yep, Wabino, Leona, Three Lakes is all combined together. So,
Exciting.
yeah,
Tri-Cities.
got to watch her at Merrill last week. She had a match here and she pinned her opponent in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, sometime I'll put on a program of my wrestling career at Columbus IM. It'll be,
When do we
we
need
can
a
have a couple of
speaker?
programs that day.
Is there,
Don't we have
is
an
there
open
gonna be
slot?
pictures involved with this?
No photos. Just real brief, I remember, wrestling, I wrestled at 103, believe it or not, and the guy that was wrestled 98 or 95, he was sick, we were at Green Bay, Vermont, on those days at prep school, and so I'm the first out there, I go out and I shake hands with the state champ, and next thing I know, I'm on my back, and every one of them, it was the whole, we didn't win a match, and I remember getting on the bus, as Coach Swanson says, that I'm sitting there, see what the fuck you started. Pardon me, Catholic school, and I was in no nothing. We went back. A great day.
Great day of your life,
Great
yeah.
day.
Didn't leave a lasting impression. Oh my God.
My grandmother was a teacher at Vermont. So that's
You may have witnessed it.
We have to change the parental rating on our.
Yeah, sorry. That was a quote, and I went to a Catholic school.
Just got banned from YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, update on dates and speakers, since we're kind of talking about that anyways. So next week we have Carrie talking about her and Jason's journey through adoption and everything they had to go through with that. So be sure to put that on your calendar next week. The week after is board, of course, for the first Tuesday. Then after that, on the 8th, we have Dee Olson coming in from United Way to do an update for us. And the 15th, we had talked about doing a membership forum. So bringing your ideas on membership and how we can grow membership. Nice conversation that day. The 22nd, we will be off-site by Paul to tour the athletic club, and we'll bring you lunch there instead. And then, of course, March we lead into the first one being board again. But we do have a couple things lined up. I believe we'll have Corey Bennett at some point coming to talk about the police department in March. Sounds like we need Tom to talk about wrestling. And but did want to mention we do have a fifth Tuesday in March. I talked to the high school and we will be off site that day for lunch. We will still do a lunch that day instead of evening event, but we are going to go and tour the Fab Lab and see all the cool things that the students have been doing there. So I'm excited about that one. And then for April, I know I had mentioned before wanting to have my uncle do a presentation, and I talked to him and we're gonna set a date aside, but would like to do that in the evening and to invite like the VFW in for his presentation. He has all sort of awards and everything from the government for his iconic landing of a Chinook on the back of for a rescue mission that he had been the pilot of the helicopter. So kind of a cool story, and I'm sure everybody in this room has probably seen the picture of it on Facebook at some point, but he was actually the pilot, my mom's brother. So I'm excited for that. More to come on the date for that once I nail it down. But does anybody have anything else that we need to go through before we bring up Dave?
Just for our lunch at the athletic club, I've got tables and chairs just like this, kind of the same setup.
Perfect.
We've got a real good area, and then the Health and Motion's gonna attend also, so maybe.
Great. Yeah,
we
would
get a
love to
membership
hear
out of that.
what they have to say too. That'd be great. Do you want me to plan on having them make up some like trays of wraps and stuff?
Yeah, whatever will work good.
Perfect. I will take care of that then.
Just our meeting
Needs it warm,
tonight.
We got a microwave. and all that
Yes,
stuff.
thank you. Also, thank you, Karen. We will be meeting at 6:15 tonight at Bee's Nest. That's what it's called. Right? Bee's Nest. For anybody who's interested in helping out with the spring event that we're going to be working on, Karen and Rob have already started some ideas and have some plans already made for it. So we're going to have our first kind of meeting tonight. Anybody, of course, is welcome who wants to help in any sort of capacity or even just throw ideas out there. But 6:15, we're going to grab some dinner and stuff over there. Anybody who wants to come, more than welcome.
The spring event you're talking about, the May 3rd or something like that?
Right.
Kentucky Derby.
And then that'll be whatever we get, we would donate a room. for-
Right.
Okay. The congregation voted that down
Voted what down?
for the daycare
Well,
yesterday.
they voted down buying the building.
Buying the building, yeah, so that, right, so they're gonna still go ahead and do that, but it might be some time before they get a building and get it all going, so.
We don't want to really spread that around at all because I don't know if Al's been told that they're
Yeah.
backing out of that. But they've already raised $90,000, I believe. But to redo the building, excluding doing anything to the basement, was $1.6 million. And they just said they couldn't,
Big
Just too
building.
much.
the church could not take that on. So, but it's still in their mission to get a good daycare in Merrill to service a lot of kids.
Right.
So I think
What building were they looking at? Just
Park City Credit Union.
The old
Lot of
But they do
square
have-
footage, but you know, it's downstairs. and
Yeah.
you gotta deal with lots
They
of-
do have $90,000 already that they've gotten, so I think if the club is still in favor, we'll still support it. And then Pastor Adam, I think, is gonna come to the meeting tonight. He planned to. But if they just have a fund, we could still do the fundraiser and say it's for Trinity Kid.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's a good idea.
it would be important to have them behind it too, because I think that'll be a big source of
Right.
people who attend also.
Yep.
So- Okay, perfect.
Where's the meeting tonight again?
Bee's Nest.
Bees Nest.
Perfect. And that's next to, or right by West Side Market.
It's
If
west,
anybody Who doesn't know where that is,
Yeah,
it's the old
West Side Holiday,
Death
couple doors
Bar
down.
and
Yep.
Badger.
Oh, the old Badger.
Wild Badger.
All right. Well, today we have Dave from the city to come and talk to us. Of course, I'm sure everybody knows Dave as the city administrator. He's going to give us some great updates, right?
Well, you want the good news or the bad news?
We'll take it all.
Both, I guess, but
Big move.
you can come on up.
Well.
You're gonna sit? Okay. All right, well, then I'm gonna change positions here.
Got it?
We are on YouTube, just so you know.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
Yeah, bombs.
I don't do that, but some people do.
Yeah, we know that.
All right. Good news is we are getting more houses again. As of last week, they took out the last 5 permits for houses on Superior Street. So that will be built out yet this year. They took out more building permits for the one that's being built, Rock Ridge Park, being built by the Mark. So we're gonna see more homes there again this summer. Yay. And housing continues to do well. We have the 36 apartments that will be like the 72 that are at the Mark right now being built on Webster Street between Eugene and Alexander. That'll be built by the same people who built the ones at the Mark. Then we've got 15 houses, single-family houses, and 8 duplexes also being built on Webster Street by Swiderski. They have a new part of their company that does single-family homes now. So we will be one of their first subdivisions. Interestingly, even with all of the apartments and houses we've been building, I've got 3 of the contractors that want more land. They want to build even more in 22 and 23. Our only problem is getting the land for them. We have some of our city council that don't believe we should be speculating in land. Well, I don't believe it's speculation if you have people that are ready to build on it. And if we don't provide the land, they're going to build somewhere else, and it's not going to be here. So if we want to continue to provide housing that we know we need to step up and acquire some land to make this happen. But the good news is they're ready to keep building. So I would encourage people to encourage their aldermen to support this. The need for housing is so great that at the last council meeting, they approved using the old fire station, which is now owned by Agra, the old West Side station, for temporary housing. That would let them hire people, have a place to live until they can find something else in the area. But it's pretty sad when you're hiring people in and you don't have any place for them to live in your community. We need housing. And we
I
need
think
to,
one of the issues that we have is affordable housing though, for people that are not making, that can't afford $1,200 a month for an apartment or a mortgage that's gonna be $1,200, you know what I mean?
and the real problem with that is affordable housing, unless you build it with tax credits, isn't going to happen because the builder can't make money on it. It has to be a higher end home for them to make money. So they're going to do what helps them.
Understood, but there's just a lot of people that are left behind because of the
Oh, I
cost
agree.
of housing and apartments and such right now, and it's hard. Haven has people that are trying to get into Haven just simply because they have nowhere else to go.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily abused, you know, it's just they have nowhere that they can live that they can afford, and that's a big social issue, I think. that-
We need housing from the lowest price level up to high end. Everything from the unemployed mom with kids to the executive of a company.
Right.
Everybody needs housing in Merrill right now. And we have jobs. Our problem is right now, we don't have people. We need people to fill the jobs that we have. Jeff Schneider with Sierra Pacific said they could hire 100 people today and put them to work. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, good or bad, it's not a Merrill problem.
It's far from being a problem
Right.
only in Merrill or
Right.
even in Wisconsin.
Right,
It's nationwide.
yeah.
But it's a problem that we have to live with and try to get some kind of resolution to. We have to be attractive. We have to make ourselves attractive to get people to move here. And making ourselves attractive is part of what we're doing with the new Marketing and Communication Committee and the whole effort to bring people here. And we are focusing more on the 25 to 45-year-old demographic to get people who'd come here to fill jobs. It's not all about tourism or just getting people, period. It's a certain segment that we need more than others. So our marketing is going to go in that direction. And that's, in fact, we have a meeting tomorrow, Thursday. So that, moving forward with that. We're moving forward with other development. We are working right now on a certified survey map for the 2-acre lot in front of the old Walmart. We are purchasing that from Pine Ridge Plaza for development. We are helping them with their effort to get Tractor Supply into the old pig. And they're looking at, after Church Mutual moves out in March, of dividing that property into 3 separate retail outlets. So they have one interested party, nationally known chain, that is interested in moving in. So we're providing TIF money for that, but only after the stores are there. No stores, no money. So you may have noticed the new Rain car wash. That'll be opening next week. That's a rather interesting concept. Not only will it be a working car wash, it's going to be a sales facility. They make the equipment that are in their car wash, so people come and see what they make working. It's made right here in Merrill. We've got a lot of growth going on in business right now. The 2 biggest ones, Weinbrenner, if you haven't seen or heard what they're doing, they took over the old Herd property from Merrill Rotary Development, and they now have 3 new production lines going in there. And I followed that thing from beginning till now. It has really changed, and it's really different from their old factory. Everything's painted white. They put up new lights. It's bright. They have a high ceiling. People can look around and see things other than being closed in. I mean, it's going to be great for people working there. They like it. They put in a really nice lunchroom and all new restroom facilities. It's a really nice facility for them. So they're happy with that. What sure beats having a empty building with a bunch of rotting alfalfa around it like we had for several years. And it's bringing the tax value back up, which is what we're looking at doing, raising the tax base.
They feel they can hoping to get additional employees for that then too, I'm
Yep.
assuming, yeah. Awesome.
Everybody's trying to hire.
Yeah.
I have not talked to one local business who isn't having problems getting people. Anywhere from executive level down to the lowest paid person they have.
Yeah, but we need more than just a heartbeat for people to show up.
A what?
Heartbeat.
Oh, heartbeat.
Well, it requires some
So
different thoughts too. I saw that Crystal Finishing, did you hear their advertisement for Mo's and E? They 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. So 2 12-hour shifts, you get paid for 40. Yeah. That they're trying something
They can
different
afford
there.
to do it.
Right, but point being that people are trying to find people to hire. So trying.
Well, we've made changes in the city with benefits. We're letting people work flexible hours where it works for us.
Right.
Has to work for us and them. We've given other incentives, a longevity incentive. We're giving people increased vacation sooner, more vacation. And right now with the younger people, vacation or any time off is more valuable than it was to my generation.
Right.
But it's very important. And so companies that are offering that kind of thing are having more luck getting people. But getting them and retaining them is something else. People don't have the attachment, I guess, to jobs or the company they work for that they used to. You work a year, you work 6 months, you jump somewhere else. talking to local manufacturers here. They have people come in, they'll work a day and they're gone. Or they'll work a week and they disappear and don't bother coming back for the paycheck. I mean, it's insane. It's a different world we're living in now. So that's basically what's going on in Merrill, except for the April election. We would have had a primary, except that some paperwork didn't go through right for a couple of people. And we ended up with just 2 candidates for the ones we would have had 3 for. We also have some uncontested races, which is unfortunate. I'm never happy to see an uncontested race. It doesn't say much for the community that we can't find 2 people who are willing to invest the time and effort to run for office. And I don't know what we do to interest people. Any ideas? Love to hear it. But we're going to have, well, everybody's probably aware of what we have right now. We have a split council. The mayor breaks ties, and I think we'll end up with the same thing again, most likely.
Who's running for mayor?
Bill Bilecki and Steve Haas.
Oh, Steve.
So depending upon what your politics are or what you want to see for the city, I would just ask you to vote, look for both of their records in office and then vote accordingly. But please vote. Tell everybody you know to go out and vote. It's going to be important. And hopefully this election day for the mayor, we don't have a snowstorm that day like we did last time. We'll hope for nice weather.
Attend the council meetings, and look at the minutes and see what's going on. It is important. I started to get back into it. And I think it's important to know what's going on in the city and get involved.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the city website, the Facebook page or the Positively Merrill Facebook page, every day after the council meeting, I put out a report on what happened at the meeting. So you don't have to listen to the meetings if you don't want to. You get a nice synopsis of what happened. So
Positively Merrill, is that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember that.
That's a Facebook page. Nobody's allowed to make nasty comments about anybody else, or you can't put anything on that isn't nice. We need more of that.
Yeah.
It is a very good.
I just joined it, or I'm pending.
So does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, what I'd like to see is,
That's not a question, that's a statement, Paul.
well, I'm getting to the question.
Oh,
I'm setting it up. Merrill had, it's been in the news because of the rant of the mayor.
Mhm.
And it seems that when we have news about Merrill, it's never what we heard about the housing, what's going on. It's always about just that news of the day, because every city has laundry.
Mhm.
But they only hear about it from Merrill through the media in Wausau. So is there a way to change that?
Well, if we could get more positive reviews, true articles rather than front page editorials,
Yeah,
that would help.
Right, I know, that's the other thing, is front page editorials.
Mhm. That does not help our city at all.
Yeah, no. And that's a lot of what we're battling with, I think, is that, we need a image issue to be changed, because you always look at Wausau as all the great things happening, but,
Oh, they have their
there's
issues.
politics down
They
there.
have their issues
Yeah,
too.
I know they do.
Do you all know Michelle Arnott? She owns the Diamond Rock stained glass studio in Tomahawk. She's also on the Haven board. She was on the news, Channel 12 and another station, I think, because her and her family built a rainbow igloo. Yeah, they built a rainbow igloo in her front yard. And you can look her up on Facebook and see her pictures, I think. But it was big enough that they put carpet inside. They had a couple bean bags in there, and they let people come in just sit in there and take pictures and whatever. And she asked for a free will donation, I think the last 2 weekends. She raised over $400 for Haven
All right.
because she's on our board. So positive things
Yeah,
like that is
I
what we
know.
want to get into the media. You know, I remember when Dave built the ice castle for my daughter's wedding back in the 80s. And, that made front page.
It did, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Come to
you
think
know, it's
about
like
it.
just little people doing cool
Mhm.
things that are enough to attract the attention of the media, I think would be good. Are good.
I mean, when you talk about, some of the positive things, that seems to always get brushed under the rug.
Mhm.
And somehow we need to tout that. And, because I think you can go to every business and there's always something good that's happening. If it's a business that's being somewhat aggressive and
Mhm.
keeping their doors open,
Well, I mean,
which you have to be now.
we'll have a business, hopefully shortly, moving into the old photo news store. So it won't be an empty building anymore. And what they're gonna offer is something different, and that's one of those things that we should put out there.
Right.
We've got a couple of places that have opened up. We should do something with, even though it's not real healthy, we should do something with a polka dot pie. It's a niche type
It
business.
sure is.
We have other businesses like that, are niche businesses. Our best niche business lately has been Golden Harvest. People come up here from other cities just to go to Golden Harvest, many of whom used to drive all the way to Rhinelander to go to it.
Yeah. My wife.
Success story in Merrill.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they doing well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's that type of thing that we need to put out there, that we have this.
I'm investing in 2 new golf simulators for my club.
Are you? Nice. Oh, I like that idea.
So that'll be going by, I'm gonna start building them in February. But
Where are you gonna put them?
I'm gonna take out the racquetball court.
Okay, well, that'll make the golfers happy and it won't help the racquetball people any.
All 10 of them.
Ah, there you go.
It's not personal, it's just business.
Probably have more than 10 golfers.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
happened to racquetball. It's terrible that you can't, generate more people to play it.
I played when I was younger, I don't play anymore.
Yeah, I know, everybody did. And when you look at it, racquetball court is really 2 floors.
Mhm.
So it's not 800 square feet, it's 1,600 square feet
Yeah.
that doesn't get used. So I've been looking at that for a long time, so I'm just gonna take.
Will we get the ball off the second floor?
Well, yeah, that's why that'll be locked for 24 hours, because I'm sure that'll be happening. But,
Hit them off the second floor toward the river.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's things going in a lot of different places.
Mhm.
But anyway, my
Well,
point was,
We need to
We have to-
accentuate the
we
positive.
have to emphasize that, and the media has to emphasize it, even in our local media. I mean, they got to look at what is really good about Merrill. And, there's a lot of things that happen here that make it a good small town to be in.
I think Clyde being the head of the chamber is gonna be helpful.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big step, yeah.
When does that start?
Or it did.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, he's
January.
been,
What's,
the going joke is because Wendy, Clyde's wife, is watching my son, that Cheryl has Clyde on a 5-year plan because that's when Declan goes back to school. So we laugh about it, but I mean, yeah. And one thing is we did have another doc shed or come to see if you wanted to, because we have an opening for another chiropractor in our office. And we did have one come up to see if this clinic is what he wants to practice in. And his girlfriend came up and she had like 3 hours to do stuff with. So we sent her to First Street and she kind of walked by downtown and she said, it's like a Hallmark movie.
Oh, nice.
I think that's a good.
So that's good. I mean, people like it's the old, it brings, I mean, you guys try to go, women watch Hallmark movies or stuff. oh, it's nice. It's that.
We just
Like,
need
if you're
Hallmark
ever
to come
gonna
in and make a
move,
Yeah.
it's the woman that we have to get, and then I think that's.
None of us are gonna admit to watching the whole.
Hey, when it's on 24 hours a day, you get hooked up.
Now, Lacey Chabert is highly underrated as an actress, not that I never watch it.
They could have a Hallmark movie with you in your tights and run wrestling.
Hey,
Oh, gosh.
Not with the kind of language he uses.
that was the coach.
That was a quote.
Yeah. Those Catholic kids, you never know.
Oh, yeah.
So that was Paul's question.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Did you mention this apartment complex up here? Is this, when does this?
Swiderski.
Open up?
They will be open this summer yet, all of it.
Okay.
They were planning on opening half of it
Yeah,
and only finishing half of it in 2022, finish the rest of it in 23. They're gonna do it all in 22,
do you know how many units total?
56. And there'll be 1, 2, and 3 bedroom,
Do you have any idea at all? I'm just curious what the prices.
1,000 plus.
So it's what we indicate. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Nice apartments.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that'll rent first will be the 3 bedrooms. And they've already rented a bunch of the apartments there before they're done.
And how many are in that?
56. Interestingly, we had another deal on that fell through earlier. And then we had somebody suggest that we put house trailers there. 18 of them.
Oh, gosh.
House trailers aren't taxable as real estate, only the land is then. And we would have had to have put in the road, the sewer, and the water. Now we have,
Yeah.
it's gonna be $5+ million. And we can house a lot more people. It's gonna meet our housing needs a lot more. And it's gonna cost us a whole heck of a lot less. So I don't know where this idea that we can put house trailers there was a good business idea, but anyway.
Especially in high school.
I guess that's no different than when we changed the trailer park and took out 6.5 acres that had 9 trailers left on them, and now have 4 businesses that are worth over $4 million. Good investment.
But you cut down the trees.
Yes, we did. No, sorry. We did not cut the trees. We bought it after the trees were cut.
That's true, yeah.
So we didn't cut them.
But boy, all the people, all they were worried about is you cut down the trees. It's like, seriously, pine trees don't live forever.
No, and those were
Even
old.
like the ones by the fairgrounds, they
Yeah.
were dying, you could tell.
Yeah, but it made people mad.
Yeah, I know, you
People
cut
need
the
to find
trees
something.
down.
But interestingly, the park department took the trees, had them cut into lumber, and were utilizing them in the park department. So nothing got
That never
wasted.
got out there though. That
No.
was
Actually,
never-
we did put it out there.
Yeah,
They
okay.
used some of that in the agri building,
Awesome.
didn't they? They used some of that lumber in the agri building. didn't they?
Yes.
That's
There was some talk at one time about this road going north of Walmart becoming a frontage road out to Highway G. Has anything ever been?
Oh, you're talking about Pine Ridge.
Yes, extending it beyond the beer distributor.
We have a plan sitting on the shelf. We can build it whenever we have money. If this infrastructure money ever comes through from the feds, that would be one way to utilize it.
'Cause there's a lot of land
Mhm.
over there that really could be.
That you can access.
Be it housing or
Well,
the
one,
industrial park is on the north end of that.
right, and on the west side, it's all owned by Church Mutual. On the east side, it's private ownership, as well as Merrill Sand and Gravel having their pit there. But no, there's buildable property there, a lot of it. And we do plan when we have the money to do that. So we drew the plans up. That's just
Commercial probably, or no, commercial? Is that what you?
probably commercial at the south end by Zastro's,
Yep.
and then residential above that.
And you own the land towards the highway then, that north field, the old Peterson property, correct?
Oh, we don't.
The city does not own that?
We own the old Peterson property that the industrial park is now in, on the north side of G.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay, yes.
Out there, so that would be
We've got 60,
essentially industrial.
we've got 67 acres there. but we haven't run sewer and water to it. We need to have a major business say that they want in, so that makes it worthwhile for us to put the sewer and water in.
Right.
And then being a TID, the increment will pay for the sewer and water to get there.
The city limits ends at the Church Mutual property line, is that true? On the east side? It doesn't go out to the highway, does it?
No. Oh, wait a minute.
No, it doesn't.
Gatterman's in.
So pieces of it are.
No, I think that's all in to the highway. Because it is by Walmart. I think it continues up.
All the way up 17, you're saying?
No, not 17. It would be
G.
to the west of the highway. So we want more property. So we can build new businesses, new housing.
It's very informative.
What about moving all the businesses from the west side to the east side?
Sure, we'll do that this afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one there. You only got one big one, the furniture store. Then if you level that whole thing, you only have two downtowns.
Well, we've got West Side Market, Holiday,
There's,
all that stuff on the far west side,
yeah.
and business. We want people to be all around the city.
We have 3 downtowns, actually.
Yeah, we got 3 downtowns. You know, you got it's so spread out. See, that's why nobody would vote for me from here.
And for most businesses, I think realistically, they're gonna build on the west side. I'm sorry, on the east side where the traffic is, near the highway.
Yeah.
They get the most customer drive-bys.
Yeah.
That only makes economic sense. But think back to when there wasn't anything out there. I think the mobile station was probably the first thing out there, other than Carl's. And look how much it's grown.
Absolutely.
Can we annex, what's that, Center Avenue, when you go past the Riverside or Prairie Trails? Where does the city limit stop?
Prairie Trails is not in the city. The park is out.
It'd be nice if the city owned all the way past the old Carl's, so we could tear that sucker down, because that is such an eyesore coming into town.
Oh, you're talking about the old co-op?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no
The old
control over
creamery
that
is
one.
Down by my office there. Go ahead and see that. Go.
Oh, is that gone now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that go.
Let's see, the, Victory Lane, it makes a little jog there. Victory Lane was in, you're in, obviously.
Yes, at the
And-
north end of the city.
Yeah, you are the very north property.
Victory Lane was in, I thought they had a holding tank. That's
But
what.
no, they're,
Victory Lane was town and there.
that's
Town of Merrill,
that's a
yeah.
town, right. That's not ours.
You're right. Because we talked about annexing when somebody else wanted to build there. So the line is G totally. Now, we do have a water and sewer line hanging on the bridge that we could extend further. But that would mean everybody would have to sign up and say, I want sewer and water. I'd love to go all the way out to the highway again on K. But people that have a working septic tank and a working well aren't interested in sewer and water unless you're building new. So how do you convince them to come in? Come in the city, pay more taxes,
Yeah.
but you're not getting anything new? That doesn't make sense for them right now. A new subdivision, it would.
Who owns that old building?
You'll co-op.
Real cool.
I've talked to him a couple of times. I can't remember his
I think
name.
it's Jim Cook, isn't it?
Yeah.
He lives out on G.
And he has no interest in doing anything with it.
Old school. Raises day.
He's got a few cars stored in it, and that's about it.
I don't think the town of Merrill doesn't have, I don't think they have any laws as far as condemning a
Zoning,
property.
No, The townships don't really enforce anything on maintenance, building maintenance, which is unfortunate. We've got some properties, not just right next to the city, but out further that are just blighted properties. And
Really junkyards.
one of the best things I think Merrill ever did is when they put in these ordinances against blighted property. You know, what did we have 20 years ago or more in the way of blighted property? Well, most of that's gone. That's a good thing. All that does is take down the value of the properties that surround it. So, let's take care of a fallacy here that we keep seeing on Facebook. We are not tearing down the city's tax base when we tear down these derelict houses. The ones that have been torn down have been tax delinquent. They haven't complied with the maintenance orders. If they're tax delinquent, they weren't paying taxes anyway, so there is no tax base. No loss, other than a property that looks bad and was unhealthy. Tom went with me on one not long ago. You walked into the house and you couldn't believe that anybody would live like that.
Which didn't look bad on the outside. You know, I'm driving by, it looked fair.
But when you walked into the bathroom and the sink was literally black, stopped up, and there was a Coke can floating in it. I'm not exaggerating, Paul.
Yeah,
I took pictures. The bathtub was coated in black crud. You honestly couldn't tell what color it was. The shower was absolutely unusable. The walls, the plaster was literally falling off the walls. The light fixtures were hanging by bare wires. And they were living in this, and they didn't see anything wrong with it. The stove was so badly encrusted with food that you couldn't tell what color the stove was.
I didn't follow Dave down the basement when he went there.
Yeah, I went down in the
He was on his
basement,
own.
right?
I wasn't going down.
There's 4 inches of standing water in the basement that is carpeted.
Oh, black mold.
So everything down there is flooded. They had plastic bags of clothes down there floating in the water. So we tore it down. Why wouldn't you? It's unhealthy. They weren't paying taxes. Like, what do you do with it?
Tear it down.
They wouldn't maintain it. You tear them down. And as long as we have those kind of things in the city, we need to enforce our rules, regulations, and get rid of them. They aren't helping the city at all. They're detracting from the city, detracting from property values. So if you hear people saying we're destroying our tax base by taking down houses, it's not true. We're actually helping the tax base by getting rid of them. And we have sold off quite a few of the lots. People aren't going to build a house on these, not a new house, but they will buy the lot and put a garage on it, put the lots together, maybe add a room to their house. We've had people buy the lot next door. One person bought it to make a playground for their grandkids. Okay. Other people bought them and made a garden. Good. They're being utilized. That's a great thing to me. Beats letting a derelict house sit there. And even if we only get the taxes on the property, we're getting more than we got when they were paying nothing. And the property's being maintained. Because if they aren't maintaining them, the city has to send a crew out, shovel the snow, cut the grass, cut the weeds. And that goes on a special assessment, which they aren't paying because they aren't paying the taxes to start with. So we're putting out extra money, our tax dollars, to take care of this property from which we're getting nothing back. It's a loser for the city. So that's why we do what we do. And then that makes Darren one of the most hated people in town.
Oh, yeah.
He's just doing his job and doing it well. That's all I got.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you again for coming to speak to us. And thanks for everybody with questions, but anything else for today that you don't forget, tonight at 6:15, if anybody wants to join the committee meeting. Otherwise, we'll end with the 4-way test of the things we think say or do.
First is a truth, second is a fair to all concerned, Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Mhm.